Welcome to my new video. As you can see, these are my upper bedroom cabinets. Now I built these at the same time. They match all the other cabinets that I've done. These are the last ones to do, and they are done. So this video will be all about how I made them. So let's not hang around and let's get into the video. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm on mission like the 007.
No, it's not the coronavirus. Let's start by cutting all the wood. This is all pre-measured out. So as you can imagine, there's quite a lot to do, being 2 cabinets to make here. I'm just assembling one of the cabinets. The side panels here, I haven't actually filmed those, but I'm just using screws and Gorilla Glue. So when you're doing something like this, it's always a bit tricky when you're working alone. So you have to just work things out, prop things up, and just hope for the best. Once you've secured a few sides, it gets a little bit easier, as you can see. So working on an uneven surface like this is not ideal, but it's always good to have a square with you so you can check the right angles. This just helps for when you are putting it together and to mount the cabinets. Measuring, gluing, screwing and measuring several times and flapping around a little bit, it's now time to fit the unit into the van. Right, as you can see, I've just fitted the cabinets on both sides. One thing to look out for is obviously when you're drilling through is just to make sure that you're not drilling into the wires, so to check beforehand, which I have done, because I'm always a bit paranoid about that. It's going to take a lot longer to rewire than just spend a little bit of time checking. But now I'm just going to put the bottoms on them, then I'll take them out and then fabricate them. I'm routing 4 sections here for the LED aluminium profile. This will be on the underside of the unit, and this is done before I start fabricating. now for the bit I really enjoy is the fabricating. Always the finishing bit, you can actually see the final result. It's very pleasing. So I'm using contact adhesive here again, so just spray on both sides. This is for high temperature and low temperature. It's really good stuff. I could always put a link in the description for that. It's very, very strong. But again, as I've mentioned in previous videos, it's just take your time and the result should be really good. Time to put the second unit in the van. There's a little bit of adjustment going on here, especially when it's just you putting things up, but it's worth taking your time just to get things right just before I put the front of the panels on. And now I'm just vinyl wrapping the front of the panels in the sort of matte black vinyl. Again, I'll put a link in the description, but it's pretty similar to the other videos that I've done before. Again, using the heat gun. This just helps manipulate this sort of vinyl, and also it helps sticks it to the edge really. So now that's been vinyl wrapped, it's time to put the T-trim on. This can be a little bit fiddly, but it finishes the panel off really nicely. Time to fit the front of the panel. First, I'm just putting the aluminium caller profile on first. This just helps grip the bottom in before you secure it at the top. Okay, so I've now put the fronts on the rear cabinets. So I think where we left off is that I'd cover the underneath, put the LED light strips in. I've now cut the front panels and then cut vinyl them. I'm still waiting for some T-trim here, I ran out. So as you can see, there's sort of like a groove in there, ready for the T-trim to go in. So they're all fitted now. This has taken a little bit longer than I thought, but most things do. And this section here is, this one's going to have a door on, same with the other side. And this is kind of my utility cupboard. So I'm actually putting a cargo net sort of behind here to stop things falling out. But as you can see, I also sort of continued the lining around here, so because it's open you can kind of see through it. So I think it just adds a bit of colour. Now the sort of fronts are done, I'm just going to put the end caps onto these two sides here, which should finish this off. Now in this clip I'm just routing the 2mm channel into the wood for the T-trim. And finally I'm just vinyl wrapping the end panels with the same vinyl wrap that I've used on everything else. So I'm just fitting the end caps, so it'd be 4 screws. I've done it in this one here, if I can just whiz round. So you can see the 4 screws in there that's holding them. So I'm just going to continue to drill those. So I've just fitted the T-trim to this one side. I'm very pleased with the way it looks. So that's this side done. I'm particularly pleased how the way this T-trim is wrapped around this aluminium profile. So that looks good. So for doing both these cabinets, which I've still got to put the T-trim on this side when it arrives, this is literally, I did them both together, but it's literally taken me a month to build. That includes sort of the fabrication behind the units and the planning and everything. So I've still got to wait for the cargo nets to arrive here, because this is my utility cupboard, so I can grab things while I'm at the back. And I've just got to get the Tambour doors fitted, which are like the ones on the front cupboards, and then we're good to go. Then all I need to do is wire up the LEDs, the LED lights. That's all zonal, so I can't wait to do all that. This is what I call my utility box. I've just fabricated some cargo nets behind here and in my divider here. Now the idea of this is, obviously you can put things in here. This is the divider here, but you can actually put things in here, and also it just stops things coming out. Now this is a 800mm by 250mm. You can get them online. I'll put a link in the description. On the next one I'll show you how I do it. This took a little bit of time to work out how I was going to do this, but in the end I decided to use Velcro and screws and sort of clamping things down. And this was to get sort of the tension right, the weave right, but in the end I think the result turned out okay. Now it's time to fit it all in. So with something that has never been, or I've never done before, it's just thinking on the job of how you're going to do something. So you can see the return bit for the other section of the part of the cupboard is just working out how I'm going to do this. And this, I've used sort of this metal sort of clamping plate to screw into the back of the panel. Okay, so that's the cargo nets fitted. That's done on both sides now. So yeah, I'm pleased with the way that looks. So now we just have to do these doors and get those fitted. So these are the Tambour doors that I've put in. These are probably the best sliding ones that I've done so far. So that's 6 I've already put in. But if you want to see a video of how I did those, then I suggest you go back to my kitchen cabinet making one, this one, the upper cabinets, and that's a step by step of how I did those. The lights are wired up and they are done. A bit hard to see because it's not dark, but they can change colour. They work in unison, in zones. They're called a Milight, not my light, Milight. How they work is, as long as they've got their own power, then you can link them all together to create zones. So it's still not dark outside, but I've closed all the doors. Now you can see that, where the light is changing. Like I said, you can have great fun messing around with this. But they are under all the units. and they're all linked together, or you can put them into their own separate zones. But hours and hours of fun, highly recommended.